Okay, so now this gets to my experiments, which we can actually run for your publishers. Okay, so let me talk about two things. One is spoofing. The other one is basically middleman fees. Okay, so the first experiment is to detect spoofing, where the bad guys are pretending to be good publisher domains. Okay, so imagine the following. If you're a bad guy and you own many sites like fakesite123.com, if you put that domain in the bid request, nobody's going to bid on you because, like, who the heck is that site? Okay, it's a fake site. Nobody's going to bid on that. So every fraudster has to lie. They have to pretend to be some other recognizable site like ESPN, Martha Stewart, Food Network, Home and Garden, right, so on and so forth. So they lie about the domain in the bid request all the time, 100% of the time, because they have to. But they put their own seller ID in the bid request because they want to get paid. So normally spoofing, if in the ideal world, it would be very easy to tell because if you look at the domain, it says ESPN, and you look at the seller ID, okay, that's not ESPN's seller ID, right? If you see that mismatch, you should say, okay, well, we shouldn't buy that because obviously it's wrong. Okay, so that's where ads.txt was supposed to help, but the problem is the DSPs don't enforce it because it is not to their incentive to enforce it. If they enforce it, then there's 90% less inventory for them to sell. Okay, so these middlemen, like the DSPs or the SSPs, will say, fuck it. If you don't catch it, it's not our job to deliberately reduce our own revenue for you. Okay, so again, it's about incentives, right? The middleman will not do that. So all of the announcements, like from AppNexus and Xandr and whatever, they'll say, yeah, we have ads.txt, we deployed it. Okay, they have ads.txt. That is different from they enforce ads.txt. You see the difference? And nobody asks the second question. Okay. And when I buy the ads myself, because I've played the role of an advertiser, in Xandr, there's a checkbox that you have to find because it's hidden in the settings that says enforce ads.txt. So Xandr can say, we have ads.txt, but if you didn't know to go in there and check the checkbox, it is not enforced for you. Therefore, all the bad guys can still pretend to be foodnetwork.com, theguardian.co.uk, bbc.co.uk, and get away with it. Okay, so now let me talk about how that impacts the publishers. Last year in 2024, when I ran this experiment for Ozone, which is the publisher selling group for BBC, Daily Mail, Guardian, whatever, we basically showed that a large chunk of impressions went to fake sites, didn't go to the actual domain. And here's how we did that. So I'll use BBC as an example. I played the role of an advertiser. I set up a campaign in DV360 and targeted one domain, bbc.co.uk. So I'm buying ads on BBC. After I ran that campaign, I told them in my reporting, I could see 9 exchanges selling bbc.co.uk. BBC said, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense because we only have partnerships with 5. Okay, so who are these other 4 exchanges selling bbc.co.uk inventory? They're not authorized. It's not real. It's basically those SSPs just looked the other way and allowed anybody to come in and pretend to be bbc.co.uk, and they did not enforce ads.txt. Okay, simple example. Okay, so the quantities of ad impressions that go to those bad guys through those 4 exchanges that BBC had no relationship with, that's all dollars that float away from the publisher that they never get to see. So they literally don't know what amount of dollars are being left on the table because it was diverted away from them, right? They see what they can see, the stuff that actually went to their site. That could be half or less than all the stuff that the advertisers are buying. But BBC never gets to talk to the advertisers because there's so many middlemen that don't want them to talk to them because they're arbitraging, they're taking a cut, whatever. Okay. So in that case, this first experiment tells the publisher whether someone else is pretending to be their domains and basically getting away with it.